Come and jump in the ride, hop on the bus. We gon' slide, be outside when we pick you up. Take you to a place where you can open up your mind. Say what you gotta say, and nobody blinks an eye. You on the long bus, with short dogs, long bus, with short dogs, long bus, with short dogs. You on the long bus, with short dogs, long bus, with short dogs, long bus, with short dogs. At the bus stop and whatnot with some blunts in my lunchbox. Enough stock to last the whole show. Got a whole packed road. The place about to go, better keep your glass cold. I jump in, meet my other friends. Big respect, gotta show love to them. You wouldn't believe who they bumping in. Why you looking like that? You coming in? Anyway, this is Matt, that's Steve. What a rich dandy. There's Jason, there's Robin, that's the other Steve. This the whole damn team, the whole stampede. Welcome to the show. Go ahead and speak. Make yourself at home. Here, take a seat. Let your mind free. Hit a little tree. Take a little drink. Whatever you need. Whatever you need. Jump in the ride. Hop on the bus. We gon' slide, be outside when we pick you up. Take you to a place where you can open up your mind. Say what you gotta say, and nobody blinks an eye. You on the long bus, with short dogs, long bus, with short dogs, long bus, with short dogs. You on the long bus, with short dogs, long bus, with short dogs, long bus, with short dogs.
How we doing, fellas? Welcome to show 47.
Pretty good.
Yeah, we got some fun here today. We're gonna get the business out of the way though. Like, share, subscribe. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Habits Glass and Goodies. They got 3 locations here in Omaha, one on 84th and J, one on 101st and Maple, and one over in the Florence neighborhood over there off North 30th. But today we got Forrest, who is a local artist. Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks,
welcome
dude.
to the show.
Appreciate
We'll
you guys having me on.
get you with the applause and all that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm
I
trying
like
to
those buttons.
trying to get better at using the buttons. They've been here, and I get bad about it. But
Yeah.
you start having fun, and you forget you're doing a job.
Yeah, no, it's kind of weird to get an applause on an introduction.
If you're
That would be great. Like to come out to every show and be like, be like Dave Chappelle or something.
I got the kazoos. So you do the kazoos with the applause, and you really celebrate.
Oh yeah,
So welcome to the show, man. And I not only do you sing, but you play the guitar, and I've even heard you rap a little, bro.
yeah, a little bit.
And they did good there too. I was
Appreciate that.
he was like, "Is this the same dude?"
Well, very, very well rounded.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and all around good guy.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I try my best. That's I don't know, the way I was raised, and then I've got kids now, so got to set a good example. But when it comes to music, I started playing guitar when I was in like the 3rd grade, and then I stopped for a number of years as I got older because I was much more into sports, and then I went to a school where I lived at the school during the week, and I just didn't bring a guitar or anything out there. But got back into it in college because I broke my leg, and I was playing soccer actually when I broke my leg for the 2nd time, and it was the same leg. That sucked. Yeah, but it was a different bone, so I guess we're all right. But I got like the knees of a 60-year-old now, and
I have
then
new ones.
yeah.
They hurt.
I'm hoping I can get a new one. I think the doctor said I got 10 years on it when I got the surgery, so we'll see. I think we're coming up on year 10 next year. Anyway, I got back into guitar, and then when I broke my leg, I was like super bored. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move because I had just like this soft cast on it for, I don't know, a number of weeks. I can't even remember at this point. Got into piano at that point, though, because I was like, I want to learn something new. And so some of the instrumentals, not very many, but some of the instrumentals on the songs that I've put out, I've done like the whole production on it too.
That's dope.
That's nice.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. And then guitar kind of led to just trying out ukulele, trying the bass guitar. And so I dabble into a little bit of it all. I would not say I'm good by any means, because everybody that I've ever played a show with, they like kick my ass when it comes to playing an instrument. But it's something that I really enjoy, and it allows me to make songs easier, I would say, just because I can play a little melody. It doesn't have to be what ends up working with the song,
Yeah.
and then we run with it that way.
But it kind of gives you something to focus on while you're writing anyway, kind of give you that this initial beat or whatever in your,
Try to help
Yeah.
you get where you're going.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And then I know if the song's written really quickly on the guitar, like I'm going to keep that guitar,
All
or
right.
that guitar part in it.
Yeah.
Like I have a song called the actual little 2-song EP. I don't know what to really call it. It's just a 2-song project that I put out. It's like 07, 03, 2020. And that was the day after I got out of a 10-year relationship,
Oh,
which is crazy. Yeah. So I was like planning to propose actually on the day that I wrote that song, but I got broken up with the day before, which was nuts. And then when I wrote the song, I wrote it in 30 minutes and it just like, it went. And so I was like, okay, cool. And then I played it at a show with a couple of guys from out of town and they were like, you need to put that song out. We didn't hear that song on. And I was like, yeah, this was like a year and a half later. So that song came out, I think 2 to 3 years after I actually wrote it, but it was written within 30 minutes on the guitar. And I just had a recording on my phone. So that's one of the songs that I put out on the 2-piece
okay.
is the actual original recording from my phone.
Nice.
And was that an anger piece or a hurt piece or?
No, it's more so just like a get over it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
You didn't let make you a sad person. You were like, I'm gonna keep going, keep
Yeah.
it moving.
It's called Not Mine Never Was is like the chorus to it.
Okay.
She's not mine, she never was, just used me when she needed love. Confused me more than any drug, and now I'm stuck all alone. And it's like, whatever. Here's how you kind of put yourself into it. There's a bridge at the end of the song where I basically say, I hope you find what you're looking for from someone who can offer more. And usually during a concert, I'll throw a little jab in there, but that's fine. We don't need to dive too deep into that.
no.
But yeah,
How old of a guy are you?
28. I'll be 29 in June.
Okay.
Wow.
So you're still young. All right.
Relatively, yeah.
Yeah.
My left knee, however, no. Got the left knee of a 60-year-old.
Gotcha. And you have a kid or a couple kids?
So I have a son, and then I've been dating my girlfriend for a really long time. So I basically call him my stepson.
Well,
Well-
bonus kid.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. And he's 6, and then the baby is 1. He'll be 2 in August. And yeah, it's like the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. I tell all my friends, I'm like, fatherhood's the best hood I've ever been in. It's just like what changed me into who I am now. It made me so much more responsible. Not that I wasn't before, but it made me get my shit together. And like, I love those kids. And so I'll spend the rest of my days trying to like pay them back for making me the person that I am and giving me something to commit to. Because there was a really long time where there was like nothing to attach myself to. Not that I need them to need me or anything like that, but it gives me a purpose. And I didn't feel that I necessarily had that before. So I just spent a lot of time kind of wandering through what to do, especially after sports ended, after high school ended. Because I spent all of my time focused on that if I wasn't doing regular high school kid shit. And it's like the best thing that's ever happened to me, and those kids make my day better, even when they're being,
Yeah.
themselves,
Yeah.
which is
Their
sometimes
worst day is a better day than the best day you had with that 10-year relationship.
yeah, for sure.
No,
So because that relationship ended, you now have these children that you wouldn't have had if you stayed in that relationship.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, true.
it was worth it.
Oh yeah. No, like my baby just lights up when he wakes up in the morning. He's like, and it just makes my day.
yeah. No, I
He's
have
got one.
I have 4 children.
nice.
My oldest is 14, and then I've got a 1.5-year-old also, and then a 6 and 8-year-old. But there's times where it's really trying, having all the children. But there's times that it is you feel like nothing could defeat you.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
When you're around with them. So I completely understand that. And that year and a half year old dude, like they're at the point right now where they're like the smiles are the best, and you know what I mean. Their little giggles and all that is awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and they turn into little animals too. Like when my kid couldn't walk yet, he crawled so fast, and so I knew as soon as he could stand up, he wasn't going to be trying to walk,
Nope.
ever. It was just straight to running, and so I make fun of him all the time because he just sprints without using his knees. So he looks like a gorilla because he just kind of waddles, but he never really runs into like walls or anything. So it's really impressive. Even when he's wearing socks that don't have those little grippies on the bottom, he'll like slide. You know, I've never shown him Need for Speed or anything, but he knows how to drift pretty well with his feet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You always been from Omaha, or you? Yeah.
Born and
Okay.
raised, and pretty much raised in like the restaurant industry.
Okay.
My mom's side of her family owns La Casa Pizzeria on Leavenworth Street, and so I was at that restaurant, you know, from before I could even remember it until my 20s, I think, is when I ended up moving to a different job completely. Because
Yeah.
even when I had other jobs, I would still work there part-time for, you know, majority of my life. But yeah, great food, great Italian food,
The good old family businesses.
decent dogs.
Yeah. Shout out Justin and the decent dog.
Go get some decent dogs.
Straw stone.
So do you know what it was initially? I mean, that got you into music or got you pointed in that direction? Was it a family member, or was it just one day you said, I'm going to mess with this?
Yeah, actually relevant to La Casa. He's now one of the owners. My cousin Brandon is what got me into it. He is really, really good at guitar. He's honestly really impressive just with music overall. But when I was young, I looked up to all of my cousins that were older than me as like role models, and he played guitar at that point. Really into punk rock music, and so I started in third grade. I didn't start with him. I started with his guitar teacher because he recommended that to my parents. That was at Schmidt Music over on Dodge Street, and I can't remember the guy's name. Just remember that he called me Grasshopper. He was super cool. But anyway, my first guitar lesson, lost my first tooth, and I had my first ever basketball game all in the same day, which was in third grade. Pretty crazy. I didn't lose a tooth until third grade, but I was under 5 foot until I think I was like a freshman or sophomore in high school. So I was really small.
I feel you.
Yeah. But Brandon got me into guitar, obviously introduced me to that guitar teacher. And then eventually Brandon actually taught me guitar as well. And the first song he ever taught me was Jesus of Suburbia by Green Day, which is like an 11-minute song. So he had me at, I think, probably fourth or fifth grade, just learning this super long song. Yeah, great dude though. And I would say he is what got me into music. And then, like I said, I kind of fell out of it for a while. Then I was listening to John Bellion. He put out an album called The Human Condition. And I listened to it like all the way through one day. And I was like, I love me. Like, I want to do this too. And so he got me back into it and got me into like writing my own songs and stuff like that.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice. I guess we kind of talked about your writing process a little bit, you know, and I've spent some time listening to your music here. And one of my favorites is It Was Taken. Bro, I love that you're singing about these things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's the kids and our you know, our daughters and ladies, like it's scary.
Yeah, no, whenever I perform that song, I try to address like the young men in the room.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this song is not for the girls. This song,
No.
they all know about this already. This song is for you to hear and listen. And that song was actually written after I played a show with an artist that goes by the name of Sky Daddy, and her sort of genre is traumacore. So she talks about trauma in a lot of her songs. And then I met a bunch of her fans by getting to open for her when she came here, and actually ran her merch table the next day in Des Moines. And that's when I met way more of her fans and like heard their stories. And they all came up to me, thought I was like a part of her team. And I was telling them that I wasn't. I was like, look, I'm helping out with the merch because I'm here. But they were still kind of like
They want
let me have it. Yeah, they wanted to talk, and I was
yeah.
cool with it. I was just listening.
There's people don't want to listen. They want to find someone that will listen. And
yeah, but some of them were crying and stuff like that, and so
yeah,
very shortly after, I was just like, there's got to be, I don't know, there's got to be some type of a way to get this sort of a landscape of a story to people that need to hear it, that are, like you said, kind of unwilling to listen.
Right.
And so then there's a lot of times where I'll perform that song, and you'll see people just kind of like in the crowd, like, oh, shit. And because there's a part at the end where I really belt out, and that's meant to be like the anger and the pain of that topic.
Yeah.
And it's something that people don't really want to talk about, but go listen to the song.
Yeah,
Every
for sure.
single dollar that gets made from it, I'm going to put to women's shelters.
Bro, I had
awesome.
every time I hear this, like even playing it here this morning, I had the chills listening to it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
huge shout out to that. And just, a lot of your music is looking inward and at yourself and what's going on in life and questions that we all have about ourselves too.
Yeah.
Lost in the Woods,
Yeah.
Was another
Right.
one that I good for you, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That whole project, which is kind of wild because I wrote it when I was between the ages of like 21 to, I don't know, 23 maybe. And then I put it out as soon as I could once everything was put together. But I still go back and listen to that. I'm like, this is good advice for me now.
Yeah.
Like, how did I forget about this? I
It's
wrote
all, yeah. I mean, sometimes you have to refresh yourself. You know what I mean?
it. Yeah, no, it's meant to be kind of like both sides of me though, like the outside, what I present to the world, and then the inside of what I think of myself, and how do I get those to meet? Because the inside is nowhere near what I try to present, which is happy and ready to get after it all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
But the inside, like, I've just got things fighting where it's like, no, you can't do it, and so and I know a lot of people are going through that every day, so I try to just write how I'm feeling, and that's how I get it out, is
Yeah.
through the music.
Well, and that's the biggest part, is just getting it out,
Yeah, through
Not-
the song.
not letting it chew you up.
Yeah, no, it usually eats at me for a while, and then I'll let it out. There's sometimes, like the song I was talking about earlier, where I'll just kind of that's a way that I explain it to myself. But I would say most of the time, I simmer on it, let myself not be angry about it, and then try and write about how it feels, and write it in a form of like, this is how you can kind of overcome it. Usually is what I'm trying to get to on the end point of all of these songs. And if not, it's me asking questions for people to kind of ask themselves. And that's what I want the songs to do, is we're like, man, what he said, like, if you think about that just as a sentence, I can like kind of get to some thoughts that I haven't gotten to before. And I don't know, I think we all need to do that a little bit more.
Yeah.
To be able to treat each other better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because most of the time I feel like people that treat people like dirt, or, like shit, they have something that they don't like about themselves first. And that's why they do it.
I think you're exactly right.
Yeah. No, I think the world is a lot of that. Mike, I think a lot of the bullying at school, when I think those kids that are bullying are, they're getting their asses kicked at home, and their, parents most of the time are talking wrong to them. And, I feel like that's where a lot of that comes from, just that's me looking at the parents around, and yeah, he's a bit of a dick,
Yeah.
I can see this at home, like maybe I'm wrong, but like maybe a little judgy, but like, yeah, I don't know, man. I was one of those kids that got my ass beat, and I always, more wanted to be a protector than anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I never really wanted to pick on it. I was more the anti-bully. I would try to beat up the dudes that were beating up the kid that was, getting picked on.
Yeah. I never necessarily got like picked on, but being so little, it was very easy.
Yeah.
So if
Well-
they needed to, they would. But I tried to be friends with most people.
See, I was the big guy and always a little overweight, so I always got the fat jokes. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And you just get real close to them, and they're like, "Oh,
Well,
looking up at
it's
Yeah,
funny
he's
until
He's
I
been 6'5" for since you
It's the second grade.
You know what, my freshman year, I was like 6'4", 325. That's my son as a freshman is like 6'4", 320. So
That was a dream. So
yeah,
thank you for living my dream. Someone's got to live it. Well, because the doctors, when I was little, they told my parents, they're like, oh, he's got big feet. He's got like hands that are larger than they should be. He's probably going to grow up and be pretty big. His head big. No, it turns out all that was just swollen.
he was just he was just Frodo for the first 5 years. You had to grow into him.
Most like first 13 years. Yeah. I remember my freshman year, I kicked on the football team, and the coach didn't want anybody that was under like 130 pounds. And I think I was like maybe 125, 127. And so he was like, we going to put you on there at 140. Just pretend that we took you weight soaking wet. And I was like, all right, man. This guy, he was a goofball, but he was a great coach. Just as a person, we did not win very many games, but we'll move on from that subject.
So on your videos and a lot of your, I see on some of your stuff, you have somebody producing some of it. Is there a lot that you do on your own?
Yeah, I'm trying to get more so into the production on my own. Truth be told, like, I just haven't learned how to do drums very well yet on a keypad, and I don't have a space for like a drummer to come over and bang on some actual drums. Shit, I don't want to pull that out. But I'm getting better with the drums. So everything else I can like put together, and then I would say most probably 75-80% of the songs I put out are production from other people. And most of the time it's a guy that I found on YouTube. He goes by the name of Eerie Skies. Love his music. And like the way that he puts the production together just fits super well with the way that I write songs. So I end up picking his beats quite a bit, but I found some other people. And then I actually, when I first got started, so one of the first projects that I put out is called Beautiful and Complicated. Every single one of those beats, I'm pretty sure, on that project were made by my friend JP and his cousin Mark. And so that's when I first started making music. That's who I worked with on instrumentals. Most of them were instrumentals that they had already had, and then I wrote songs on top of. But some of them we put together.
Nice.
That's awesome. It's a little fun when you get to work with your buddies doing it and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Actually, one of those songs, so JP is way better at guitar than me. 2 of the songs. So I showed him what I wanted on the guitar and how I had written the song, and then he played the part on the recording because he's just significantly better, and he can play a 12-string guitar. So he did that on a couple of the songs. Yeah, it's nuts. It sounds great too. Like the harmonies are just like woo.
Well, and it's nice that you don't, have the pride to, you can be like, hey, bud.
Oh, you want your stuff to sound the best it can sound.
Yeah.
That's you have no complex about it.
Well, and you're in the wrong circle if you're the best at everything in your circle. Right. So
everybody's good at something.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah. And for the most part, like when I work with people, they're all better than me at everything that they're doing. Right. So why not just let them do it?
Right.
And you're all going to succeed that way because if you're all working towards the same common goal and doing the thing that you're best at.
And they're going to get there quicker.
Yeah. It's a pretty good formula. Pretty good formula. Yeah. It's a nice sandwich.
Yeah. Do you have anybody that you aspire to work with someday, or like a favorite artist that you would like to be on stage with at some point?
John Bellion would be nuts. He's not underground. He's lesser known, but he writes so many songs. So just getting to work with him on a songwriting piece would be
your
yeah. But getting on stage with him would be crazy too, because every single time I've seen him live, it's whoo. But I don't know. A lot of the other artists that I like to listen to, like Amy Winehouse is probably my favorite vocalist of all time, and she's no longer around. So
yeah.
that's a problem with most of the people that I would really, really want to work with is they aren't involved in music anymore, or I don't know. But people that I have seen live, I don't know. Matt Phoenix would be crazy. You guys have the
Yeah.
T-shirt in the corner. That's why when
You had said something about the Linkin Park cover.
dude, yeah, I just like that's who they should have gotten to,
Yeah.
to be the lead singer of Linkin Park. That dude's
sure.
vocals are nuts. Even beyond just the Linkin Park cover that he does,
Oh yeah,
like his voice is just so great.
Yeah.
Dakota Faye is another one that like I recently met Dakota Faye, and he's from North Dakota. He is super talented. If you guys don't have him on your radar, you should definitely check him out. He just put a new project out.
I
And,
do have him on Facebook, and
Yeah.
have been kind of paying attention to that.
Yeah, he's popping. And locally, C10 is someone that I would love to work with.
Yeah, he's coming in
He's
here in
coming
a
in.
couple days.
Heck yeah,
Yep.
nice. Yeah,
We're big fans of Clay. No, Jason showed me that video of dude doing Matt Phoenix doing the Linkin Park cover,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow,
He
dude. Like,
killed it.
no, we want to get him in here at some point, and
Yeah.
he said he'd come. It's just time.
Oh yeah, no,
Time.
he's hopefully real busy because I mean he's super good at what he
He
does.
is.
The
Yeah.
first time I
He's
heard him,
very
I was
busy.
I can't even remember what I was doing, but I just remember I stopped and I turned around and I was like, "Who the hell is this?"
Yeah.
Hey, he was on tour with ISO, and I was just like, "All right, I'm stopping what I'm doing. I'm paying attention to this set."
Yeah.
And yeah, it was real good.
So if you had to choose 3 of your songs to say this is where you start with Forrest, what songs would you somebody that's never listened to you,
Yeah,
what would you point them at?
get a little taste of everything. I would say start with "Take a Drive."
Okay.
It's a good starting point, and then next, "Everything in Between." I perform that acoustically whenever I'm performing it live, but on there it's got a bass and it's got a little more oomph behind it. But real good song with a good message. And then to close it out, Gemini.
Okay.
It's like so. It's not the word Gemini. I am a Gemini because I was born in June, but it's Gem in I.
Yep. I
Yeah,
had seen
it's a
that.
part of a project called "If the Universe Went Silent," which I love that project. If you're dealing with struggle through everything that the world has been for the last decade and probably going to continue to be, that project is like that's some questions that you can kind of ask yourself, but it's still relevant today because I wrote it not too
Yeah.
long ago and still dealing with a lot of stuff. So
Right.
but that's life.
It is life.
That it is. Sometimes it sucks.
Yeah. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it sucks. But if it didn't do those things, it would be real damn boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was the same thing all the time, you'd probably just go insane.
I'm already insane.
Yeah. Well,
So
I
let's
didn't-
have some more fun.
I was talking to him.
So what do you got? You got some shows coming up.
Yeah. I'm going on tour with Otis Julius on the "If I Can Do It, Then You Can Do It" tour, and it's a motivational tour. So that's going to be kind of the whole point. Is Otis put out a project called "If I Can Do It, Then You Can Do It," and he just hit me up not too long ago actually, and was like, "Hey, did you want to be on this?" And I immediately was like, well, let me check and make sure I can get a babysitter, and then yeah, absolutely. So we got all that worked out, and yeah, we're going to be going to Independence, Kansas on February 26th is where I'll be kicking things off. Otis has a couple shows before that on the 21st and 22nd of February in Idaho, which that's his home state. But 26th, we're going to Independence, Kansas at the Booth Hotel. No idea what to expect there, but I'm super excited to get to perform in Kansas and kind of meet some people from around the place. I know Otis said there's people from Wichita, people from Topeka kind of coming up. And then we'll be going to Des Moines the next day at XBK Live. And a couple people, J-Bob included, have told me that the venue is just sick. And so I'm super excited because I've never even seen the venue. And then almost got to perform in Des Moines with that Sky Daddy show, but they just didn't have like time on the lineup or whatever. So first time performing in Des Moines ever as well.
Nice.
Then we're coming down to Omaha for Glizzy Fest. Glizzy Fest is going to be sick. That's
right.
That's Decent Dogs. That's what's happening.
Justin
weekend.
Strawstone.
Heck yeah! And now it's a 2-day festival.
Yeah.
sir.
The
So
28th and the 1st, right? March
Yeah,
1st.
yeah. So Otis and I will be on the 28th in Omaha, and I'll be eating about as as many decent dogs as I possibly can and performing for a little bit too. But then the next day we're going to be going to Kearney and super excited. I know Kearney likes to get rowdy. I
Yep.
just put out a song with, or I guess I didn't put out a song. A friend of mine, he goes by the name of Royal Music. It's with 2 Y's. Just put out a song that's got Ritz, Tabo the Truth, myself, him, and then a guy named Marco Parks on it. It's pretty sick. It's called Legends in the Making. And yeah, you should definitely check that song out because Ritz is the opening verse. When he sent it to me and I heard it, I was like, wait, is this like Ritz? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, all right, yeah, like let's go. I gotta do something on this. Okay. And then I heard Tabo too, and I was just like, and like everyone's verses on there, just they're kind of, they brought it, you know. I do got to talk to Tabo though because he's got a couple references about food, and I'm like, man, this verse just makes me hungry. What are you trying to do here?
That's funny. Yeah. What is the best way for people to find you online, on YouTube, on Spotify, all those?
So I've tried to make sure everywhere. I put out a project because the name Forest is so generic. I was talking to you guys before we got going. It's hard to find, but I've tried to put out on every possible media that I can. I am at Songs by Forest as one word, and then I put out a project titled at Songs by Forest EP. So if you just look up the at Songs by Forest, you should be able to find it.
Yeah.
It's a picture with some grass and then like a photograph with me on it. I would say that project is like the starter pack to learning who I am as a person. And so that's kind of why I put it out under that name. But yeah, at Songs by Forest is definitely the way to go to find anything.
There you go.
Right on. So what do you got? You know, do you got any big plans? Or are you writing a bunch of stuff? Like, what do you got coming up here?
Yeah. Trying to compile a bunch of singles together to put out. And then usually what happens is with a couple of the singles, it'll make me think of some concepts. So I think I'm going to continue to do singles and EPs for this year, possibly some of next year, but all the while I'm trying to put together an album that's really just going to be like the story of me. And in a way, I want to write it in a way that it feels as if the person who's listening to it is the one that wrote it. And so they're the one like telling the story, but
That's
obviously it's just
different
through the song.
approach.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. It's going to be like I don't know, like a POV project, I guess. Because
That's kind of cool.
yeah, you're going to be looking, and then hopefully I'll be able to do some cool video concepts with that too. But that's just the idea for now. We'll see what happens because ideas usually turn into, I don't know, a tree of thoughts, and you got to go look around at all the branches to find the good ones.
I kind of like the idea though to, you know, have it point of view, you know, and
Yeah.
I like the thought process there.
Yeah. The execution is the important part, though.
Yeah.
So that's why I'll take my time
Yeah.
with it.
There you go.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have that. I don't know, bro. Everybody's like, well, what else do you want to do with, you know, I don't have the vision like crazy like that. You know what I mean? Like to see the next step. I can get you to the first one. And then I'm like, what's up
Yeah.
from here?
Yeah.
So, but that's,
Yeah, no, I try to do things backwards. Like that's like how I get to answers, I guess. I look for like, okay, what's the root of this all? Like, why am I trying to do this? Or, you know, in terms of songwriting, like, what is the core of this supposed to be? And then work backwards off that. Like, okay, why? Okay, but why do you want that? What is the point of this? And hopefully you get to some good answers that way.
Yeah.
But sometimes you end up asking yourself a lot more questions than you thought.
so here's kind of you always in person. And when I see you anywhere, you seem like the happy, you know, shaking hands always. And, you know, not everybody can get like that every day. You know, do you have tips for trying to keep that mind frame or that, I don't know, bro, the happy goat, you know, like every time, like I'm telling you, every time I see you, dude, you're smiling, you're shaking hands, and I can't always be like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's well, I don't know. Sometimes if you just kind of pretend that you're the one that's going to make that person's day, it can really help out, because I think everybody is going through something. I wouldn't put comparisons on anything
Right,
that people are
right.
going through, just because it's all different.
Mm.
So if you try to keep that concept in mind whenever you're out in public with people, it makes it a lot easier to just try and be positive. It's not like you have to necessarily be, you don't have to be the happiest guy. You don't have to be the person that's smiling all the time. But if you can be the person that's there, and like it's acknowledgeable that you're enjoying yourself being there, is the important part too. So it's much easier to enjoy yourself if you're happy. So might as well, like, you don't know if tomorrow's coming.
For sure.
Might as well just treat today, and if you let whatever happened that day or that week or whatever continue to just bleed into all the minutes and the moments that you're running through every day, you're wasting those minutes. You could be spending them going through, I don't know, whatever process you need to heal, or something new that treats you better than whatever didn't treat you well and caused you to have that bad moment. Not that you should just up and leave everything,
Yeah.
but I think if you try and look at the bright side, which is so cliche and so easy to say, it helps a lot. You just try and make sure that you're the person that's like, hey, you know what? Like, yeah, we're going through that, but we're going to get through it. Like, that's
Yeah.
the point. Everyone says you're going through something, and you're going through it. That means there's an end to it. It's not perpetual most of the time.
That was well put.
Thanks.
That was well put.
Yeah.
I'm always better at saying it than I am practicing it, but I always, tell my kids, like, let it be what it is. Like,
Mhm.
you can feel the anger and all that shit,
Mhm.
but you got to let it go.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. If you hold on to it, it's just weighing you down.
Yeah.
It's
But I'm that asshole that hangs on to it.
yeah. No.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard not to. So it's very like, I don't know. I sympathize with it very much so, because there's things that I hold on to for far too long that I shouldn't be, and then I try and just call myself out on it. Like, that's another point where I'll ask questions. It's weird to talk to yourself, but it's also kind of
arguments happen daily.
yeah.
Here and here.
Yeah, no. Sometimes I feel like I got two brain cells just battling it out, but
Oh,
we usually get to an answer pretty quickly, and it helps a lot to ask those questions, because if you're asking yourself those things,
Yep.
you have a better outlook, I would say, too. So that's another way that you can kind of go about your day and be happier, is find out why you're mad first.
I've been trying to slow down and figure out why I'm, so angry about things sometimes. I'd heard somebody was running their mouth, and then I was shown a text and all this, and I was like, okay, but I was like in the moment ready to go scorched earth, like,
Yeah.
but why?
Yep, exactly. Like, what good is that going to do? How's this going to affect the people that I love and I take
Yeah.
care of? That's like, and that's another reason that I got to thank my kids too, because I wouldn't have asked those questions before. I wouldn't have even asked, how is this going to affect me?
Yeah.
I didn't care. And then I was like, oh man, like, I got to make sure this kid's fed every day and that his diaper's changed and all this stuff. Like, I've known my stepson since he was a year and a half old. So it's been a long time that I've just been in this mindset. It changes a lot, but hopefully
I've been doing a lot of changing in the last couple of years. So a lot of this is newer for me, and but I am, I was, like I said, I drove home I'd live an hour north. So I drove home and didn't have the radio on the whole way home, and was like, why am I so pissed off?
yeah,
Like, and why do I have to go full Hulk, like, to feel better? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, it's not the way it should be.
yeah. No, those
So-
radio off drives, those are something special. That's like confession time, but you're the priest and
Right.
staring down a windshield in an empty road, and you're looking for those answers. Hopefully you get to them by the time you get home.
Yeah.
That's another thing too, is I try really hard to kind of like, I've read a whole bunch of stories and parables, metaphors, whatever you want to call them, about like, take your jacket off before you go inside when you get home, and it's just like all the weight of the day and everything like that. Make sure when you walk inside, you're not that for the people that are in there, because they know that's not you, but you don't need to bring that on to them too. And so I don't know if I can do that when I get home, I can do that when I leave too. And I can separate those things and try and be happy just that I get to go through it all.
Yeah. No, and I do need to get better myself at taking my coat off when I get home. And I know that's still a battle, but it's not as bad as it was. And it's as long as we're all trying, right?
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure, man. Like it takes a lot of mental effort to actively do those things every day, but pressure makes diamonds. So go shine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. So anything else you want to shout out, buddy, before we go get our cheeseburger on?
Oh, I'm excited for cheeseburgers. If you are in any of the areas that I talked about, and then I forgot, we're ending the tour in Lincoln at 1867 Bar. But yeah, if I can do it, then you can do it tour. That's I don't know when this is coming out.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be at the end of February into the beginning of March, and I'm really hoping to just do some wild things outside of Omaha. Yeah.
Otis is fun, dude. I think he would be fun to ride around with for a few weeks.
Yeah, I'm really excited to learn from him too, because this is his career. But yeah, his energy is something that I'm excited to be around too.
Yeah, we'll probably talk to that dude at some point too.
Yeah, no, definitely.
He seems fun as hell.
Get him on the map for an episode sometime. I'm sure he'll have a lot to say.
Yeah, but sweet, dude. Well, I guess we're gonna go ahead and hit the button here. But thanks for your time.
Yeah,
continue doing what you do, dude.
Sure.
You're
a genuine dude.
Yes.
Genuine artist.
Stick with the positivity.
You don't just focus on one thing. You do multiple things. You're very well-rounded. Like I said, very well-rounded artist.
Thank you. Yeah,
we appreciate you.
Another song that I had written down here that I loved was Chicken Little. Just
have
gonna
you seen that
drop
one
that
live?
No,
Okay.
I haven't.
That one, it's supposed to have my best friend in the whole world, Dion Cobbs, on it. He hated his recording. So I was like, dude, I was releasing songs every 2 weeks. I was like, I got to put this song out, man. So he's like, all right, just do the one with your verse on it. But when we perform it live, he does his verse, and it's crazy good. It's so good. So I love doing that one live because that's the one that gets him up on stage with me. Nice. And we have a lot of fun together. So next time you can, you're coming to Glizzy Fest, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll make sure that one's on the set list.
Sweet. No, I love that one. I love Run Forest. See, I could go, but I'd love, like I said, dude, the message in your music and looking at yourself and what you're doing to other people. And we need more of that.
Oh, yeah.
The world needs more.
Hopefully. Most of, on all of my socials and stuff, I just say I'm here to try and change the world, and then I'll be on my way. That's like the whole point of me doing this music is really so that I can go listen to it when I need it. But I'm hoping that people will listen to it and just like take a look at themselves. And that's how we make a change, is just by inwardly looking at ourselves.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
But I appreciate you guys for having me on too. It's been a lot of fun.
No problem, man.
All right, buddy. We'll talk soon.
Yeah.
Run it. Come and jump in the ride, hop on the bus. We gon' slide, be outside when we pick you up. Take you to a place where you can open up your mind. Say what you gotta say, and nobody blinks an eye. You on the long bus, short thoughts.